everyone, and welcome to the MSC Gizcast with Rob Kfish.
Hello and welcome everybody to another video episode of the MSC Gizcast. This is episode number 9, and in today's episode actually we're going to talk about how to add applets to our top menu in Ubuntu, in our Ubuntu desktop. Now we'd actually talked a little bit about adding drawers, which was an applet that we could add to our top menu. But today we're actually going to look at a couple other different ones we can add, including a weather report, some eyes that follow our mouse, and also a fish that swims up in our top menu. So let's have a look at how we can do this. Okay, so here we are at our Ubuntu desktop here. Now what I've tried now from our other recordings is I've actually increased the resolution. So you'll notice things are a little bit bigger here. So I'm hoping that it'll help for things to kind of show up a little bit better on the screen here and see how this goes. Now here's our top menu, and here's where we're going to add some applets. Now we already got some here from default in that, and this is the weather one I was talking about, that says medicine hat there, and then you can do a few things there. But before we get to that, let's have a look at the different things we can add to our top menu. Now on my top menu, if you go to properties, I actually, if you click expand, it actually goes right across the screen here, and it's like that by default if you haven't installed Ubuntu yet. But I like to keep everything kind of just squished in there a little bit for some reason. So just if you're wondering, so to add to this top menu, I'm going to go right to the corner. I'm going to right click and select add. Now here's all the different things that we can add to our top menu, our different applets. Now if you've been using Ubuntu for a while, of course you probably know most of this already. But if you haven't used Ubuntu yet, or just starting to, maybe you weren't too sure about this, so here's a few different things you can add. Now I'm not going to go through all of them, maybe I'll eventually do different podcasts on them. But the ones I wanted to talk about today were the weather report, which you already see that I've already got that installed. I wasn't going to install it again, which only takes a second anyway. The guys, which are little eyes, and the fish. So first of all, what we're going to do is, let's add. All you have to do is highlight what you want and click add. So it's not really an install, it's pretty fast. So, and then there's our eyes. And as you can see, what they do is they just actually move around with your mouse. And once again, it's just something to kind of show your friends. I think it's kind of cool. And there's not, your preferences, there's not a whole lot you can do. There's different ways you can change your eyes. You can have some pretty funny ones looking up there, but I like I usually just stick to there's default tiny, default big, and tangle, the bloodshot if you're not feeling too good that day. But I always just go with the default one, the default tiny though. So that's our guys. Once again, it's not doing a whole lot, but just something you can kind of show, and I sometimes have it up there just as something a little different. Now the next thing is our let's go add to panel once again. And then let's highlight the fish. So just highlight it once again and click add. So here we go again. Now, here's our fish up there. You can see it swimming away there. And what you do is, it's called Wanda the fish, and she's a fortune teller. Now she can sometimes be very abrupt when she's telling your fortune, but just click on that and it says reply hazy, ask again later. Okay, so let's ask one more time. Here we go. How does the Polish Constitution differ from the American? And then it tells you some different things there. Let's get a little shorter. What happens when 4 wasps find themselves in the same room? A dinner party. I'm not too sure what that means. And let's ask it again. Your mood of life will be changed for the better because of new development. And sometimes it's kind of a cool thing. Sometimes it's pretty funny. And you can just ask it to stay away from hurricanes for a while. Well, that's pretty good advice. Right? I think that's some pretty good advice. Stay away from hurricanes. And so that's our fish, and she's just going to sit there and swim in her way, and then you can just click on it once in a while. And then we have our guys. And our last thing, what we were going to do, so add the panel, was our weather report. Now we've already got it sitting there, so once again, highlight it and click add, but we've already got it. And then what you want to do is, once you got your weather report up there, you'll just go to preferences. And then select your location. Now, of course, I'm in Medicine Hat, and if there's got lots of different, all your different countries and continents and that here. And of course, I'm in Canada and Alberta, and there's Medicine Hat, so I just highlighted that, and I click close, and of course, there it is. And then there's the general. There's how to update it, and your temperature unit. I use, you can use like Fahrenheit, Celsius, Kelvin if you want to use, and just a few different little things you can do there. And I've never used a custom address radar map. I'm not too sure what that is, so I haven't actually really used it. And there you go, there's just a couple little things that you can add to the Ubuntu desktop. The weather report one is really nice. You know, it gives you a few different things what's happening. There's our, we can visit, we're not going to do that right now. And it just gives you a few different conditions. That one I really like. Then you click update. You know, let's say you don't have it updating all the time. That one's really cool. That one's really helpful. That's a really nice applet. These here, once again, are just something that you know, if there's someone around and you say, gee, do you have this on Windows? Yeah, I bet you don't. You know what I mean? And then you got your guys and you got your fish. And of course, there's so many different things you can add, but we're not going to go into that too much right now. And so there we go. That's kind of what I wanted to show you today. Once again, these are just little videos and different things of things you can add to the Ubuntu desktop. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you haven't used Ubuntu, there's something you can look forward to, is adding guys and fish to your desktop. Once again, thank you very much for downloading this video episode, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, everybody.